Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a market that is incredibly lucrative, but honestly, notoriously demanding. We're talking about Concord, California. We're going to use the Concord Property Management Guide to decode exactly how you can succeed out there, whether you're managing an asset from hundreds of miles away or, maybe you just accidentally inherited a property. I am so excited to share this with you, so let's jump right in.
Okay, let's dive into this. Right off the bat, the source material highlights this massive opportunity. Bay Area rents are the highest we manage. But here's the catch with those premium rents. While they are absolutely fantastic for property owners, they come with incredibly high stakes. Higher rents mean higher tenant expectations, much higher asset values to protect, and significantly more complex local laws. You literally cannot just wing it here.
So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. The Concord rental landscape, managing from out of state, first-time accidental landlords, choosing a management plan, support for remote owners, and finally, the bottom line.
Let's start with Section 1, the Concord rental landscape.
There are two massive forces shaping this market right now. First up, we've got BART-driven demand. Transit access makes Concord incredibly desirable for Bay Area commuters, and that creates this massive, sustained tenant demand. That is great news for your vacancy rates, for sure. But the flip side? Tighter local regulations. The local government has really strict rules in place, meaning landlords have to be incredibly careful. It's a high reward, but highly regulated playing field.
What's really interesting here is how the guide captures the two main profiles of owners who need the most help navigating this high-stakes environment. The remote owner, who's trying to manage from afar, and the accidental landlord, who is local, but, never actually planned on managing real estate. Both face unique but equally daunting challenges.
Which brings us to Section 2, managing from out of state.
The source makes such a powerful point here. Distance turns small problems into big ones. Think about it. You can't just drive over on a Tuesday evening to check a leaking pipe, and you certainly can't easily pop in to show a home to a prospective tenant when you live 3 states over, right? Every minor physical issue requires a phone call, intense coordination, and just a huge amount of trust in whoever's on the other end of the line.
And beyond physical maintenance, there is a strict legal compliance layer. Take FTB withholding, for example. It's a California requirement that mandates quarterly tax filings and withholdings specifically for out-of-state property owners. If you don't know about this, or say you file it incorrectly, you're looking at severe financial penalties. It's a perfect example of how remote owners are essentially playing a completely different game out here.
Let's pivot to Section 3, first-time accidental landlords.
What the source data shows is that most of these folks never actually set out to be landlords. They usually inherited a family home, maybe they had to relocate suddenly for work, or they just decided to hold on to a previous primary residence rather than selling it. Suddenly, they're thrust into running what is essentially a small business, and that makes the steep learning curve incredibly stressful.
And because of these sudden transitions, inexperienced landlords are at incredibly high risk. California's landlord-tenant rules, they are unforgiving of honest mistakes. Ignorance of the law is literally not an excuse here. This is exactly why having a professional manager is so vital. They step in to handle the tricky stuff. The pricing, rigorous tenant screening, the legal leases, serving proper notices. Also, a simple, well-intentioned first mistake doesn't snowball into an expensive disaster.
Moving right along to Section 4, choosing a management plan.
The guide provides a really clear pricing matrix from Legacy Property Management. Let's look at the 3 tiers. We've got the complete plan at 9.9% of monthly rent with a $199 minimum. The classic plan at 7.9% with a $149 minimum, and the basic plan at 5.9% with a $99 minimum. Having these clear options lets us easily see exactly what the financial commitment looks like. It's just straightforward, transparent pricing.
Breaking that down a bit further, how do you actually choose? Well, the source suggests the complete plan is absolutely perfect for out-of-state owners because it explicitly bundles in that scary FTB withholding compliance work we talked about earlier. Meanwhile, first-time local owners frequently start on the classic plan. It gets them a solid foundation of professional management without paying for all the out-of-state extras.
All right, Section 5, support for remote owners.
Having boots on the ground is critical, and here is the support infrastructure they use to relieve that day-to-day anxiety. First, you get one point of contact who actually knows your property. No department hopping or getting stuck on hold. Second, an online owner portal with real-time statements and ACH payouts, so your money arrives digitally and dependably. They also offer in-house maintenance and an annual investment review, so you always know exactly how your asset is performing.
Now, check out this 10% figure. What this represents is the strict markup cap on their in-house maintenance. One of the biggest fears landlords have, especially remote ones, is getting gouged on unexpected maintenance bills, right? By strictly capping the markup at 10%, it demonstrates full financial transparency. You know exactly what the ceiling is when things inevitably break.
Finally, Section 6, the bottom line.
At this point, you're likely asking a very common, highly realistic question found in the guide. Is management actually worth it for my first rental? If you're watching this, you might still be on the fence, carefully weighing that 7.9% or 9.9% fee against your expected monthly rental income.
Well, the guide answers that question with this incredibly powerful quote. The fee is typically smaller than the cost of the compliance and screening mistakes it prevents. It frames professional management not as a painful, annoying expense, but really as a critical insurance policy. In California, one bad tenant screening or one compliance failure can easily cost you thousands of dollars. Professional management is your shield against those devastating mistakes.
So if you fit into either of these profiles, the out-of-state investor or the accidental local landlord, here's your actionable next step. You can request a free rental analysis for your Concord property by calling 877-603-9696. They'll walk you through it and give you honest advice on exactly which plan fits your specific situation.
I want to end on this final provocative thought. Will a single honest mistake wipe out your entire year's rental profit, and are you prepared to prevent it? The Concord market offers fantastic returns, but DIY management in such a highly regulated environment, it's a massive gamble. Think about how to best protect your investment. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep analyzing, and I'll catch you next time.